This is Mark Mancuso with City Parks and Rec, and he's the one that gave us the okay to use the field. And really, kind of the really nice part about this will be the only time that we'll probably be able to do a graduation on the baseball field and make it special for this group of kids that kind of had a crappy year all year, or towards the end of the year. So we're going to try and make it a little bit special. It's a little bit more intimate because we're able to get the families closer to the students and stuff, and we're able to use the Jumbotron and make it real special for them. We did a walkthrough with Fruta, and we did one with Palisade, and they brought some students, and they really liked the idea of doing that. And so listening to that and talking to Dr. Circo, this was the best option. Again, we're thanking Mark for letting us do this. So as we walk through this today, Mark will point out the do's and don'ts, and especially once we talk about entering the field and getting on there. Okay. You guys all saw the letter that went out last night. Did that go out to everybody? Yeah. That we did announce to the public that we are doing graduation, what it's going to look like, where it's going to look, or where it's going to be, and dates and times. So it's out now that we're doing a graduation, and this is the best option for the kids. We have a lot of guidelines to follow. We had to ask for a variance to do that. So as we go through this, we're going to be sticklers about it. Okay, you can ask if you can do it, but we'll discuss it. But you saw the guidelines. I've attached what was put out a few weeks ago. That might be modified. It's modified on a daily basis, but we're going to stick to our variants as much as possible. Social distancing, and my concern right now is for students and staff, and then the families. Okay, students have to wear masks, staff have to wear masks, practicing social distancing, and all of that's built into this plan. There's some things that you can do to make it unique to your school, and Mark can help answer some of those questions, but for the most part, we've got it pretty well planned out, and it's following those guidelines that we've worked on. We've been working on these since the end of school year, guys. We've had 5 different plans that we've thought through, and this is the best one. So we got tickets. We're printing out tickets. Chuck in the print shop is gone. He'll be back on Monday. He'll start printing those tickets out Monday, and they should be ready by the end of the day on Tuesday. Okay, that's the plan. What I need from the schools is I need the actual number of graduates and the number that you think is going to attend. So up to 4 family members. What the thought is, we'll give those tickets to the student, let them decide who gets those tickets. The question will be, I'm going to answer right now, is, well, we got Palisade. We're not going to fill up the entire stadium. Can we have those extra tickets so we can give to other folks? No. We're only going with the number of graduates that will be attending. But we got to print up enough tickets for 220 students. Now, if they want to hand those tickets out to their friends and not their family, that's on them. Okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to mark out where seating will be. And so, but we have to be equitable. You know, for Fruta, they're going to be tight. And for Palisade or R5, for example, smaller groups, there's going to be empty seats, I'm going to tell you. But we have to be fair and equitable to all groups. So we're saying family members only, 4 per graduate. All right. So family members will come in here, and they'll check in through this gate over here. They have to have a ticket to get in. If they don't have a ticket, they don't get in. And we got to stick to that. No exceptions. And if that means that there's 3 adults and 1 child, that child counts as a ticket. It has to have a ticket. Okay. So four family members, adults, children, they all count the same. So families will come in here. We're asking the graduates park in the overflow parking lot down there. You all familiar with the overflow parking lot? Okay. We go through the overflow parking lot. Caps and gowns must be shown at that gate in order to get in. We think that's the best place to hand masks to students at that point before they come in. So we'll need at least a couple staff members down there at that gate, and we'll walk there in a minute and show you where that's at. So I need a number of staff members that is going to be helping with the event too. So I think we won't need as many staff members as we have in the past, to be honest with you, because with the big high fence going around here, that really helps a lot, and with 2 entry points, that makes it even that much easier to work. So family members here, tickets, and then they go to areas that are designated seating areas only and stuff. Once we get inside, I'll show you or talk to you about how we're thinking about doing that. Okay. So let's walk down here to the overflow parking lot. Some of you may not know how that works. We'll show you where the entry point is. Where that trash can is, up ahead there, that's the entry point where they drive in and park on the grass over there. So probably need a couple staff members at that gate and helping park, because if we don't kind of guide them, they're going to park wherever and stuff. So they'll park in there. If they show up with a family member, well, let's have them park out here, and then they'll walk in through that gate over there, and we'll walk up to where that gate is now. Any concerns out there, Mark?
So in the parking lot, we will we'll mark or have somebody stripe. I think school district did it last year.
Okay.
Just the center lines, and we'll need staff to park those cars. I think students would be all over the place if we let them park on their own. So we'll get that diagram, and I'll work with Sean on getting that painted, or we'll get it painted, just so everybody has an idea of where to park those vehicles. So it'll be the same. This gate right here, as we walk through, I'll have it shut, so no access will be this way on that gravel trail. That way, and we'll just open up one of these other gates to let the students through into the complex.
So let's go down there and take a look where the students will come in. And so for the schools, this gate's going to be shut. So this swings out and closes off right here. So the entry point will be farther up. We'll walk down and show you exactly where that's at.
So this fence removes, so we can pull this panel out, and then it can come in right through here.
All right, so we'll take these posts out, so the students will come right here, walk in, and this is where I would suggest that we have a table set up for students to receive their masks at this point. And so however you want to hand those out. Yes.
Are you guys just going to set up a table and then we come in and put our masks on it and get ready, or do we need to provide a table and get it set up?
You have a table.
I have the table.
All right.
Problem solved. So again, at least a couple of staff members. What I'm saying, guys, is we need to encourage students not to bring a bunch of personal items. Really, all they need is their hat, cap, and gown, and that's really it. Because the plan is, once they come off the field, we're going to march them out to this area here, and the expectation is they come out this way. So if they bring personal items and leave them in the bleacher, that's going to clog up that process, and we have to let them back in. So really encourage them not to bring anything extra. One of the questions from one of the schools last week was, can we put water under their chairs? That's a really good idea. Yes, you can put water under the chairs on the field. And so they don't even have to bring water bottles, to be honest with you. So that's a really good plan to do that. So we'll have a table here, a couple staff members. Again, they have to have a cap and gown to get in at this point. Okay. All right. So let's walk this way. we may want to have some staff members kind of staggered along here, just guiding them through where we need them to go.
So, Tim, when you say staff members, is there any district personnel that will be working, or does all that need to be through the campus?
I was told, well, I understand if anybody that shows up, any staff members, they're doing it on their own time.
Right, but do we need to account, when we look at the map and say there's 30 spots we need staff, is that 30 that campus staff we need, or is there any district staff?
And then we'll try and get some campus or some district staff. My guys will be working.
Yeah.
But we're inside.
This wind is brutal. Excuse me, trash. Every time the wind blows, we find way more trash, so.
So students will enter this gate right here. And so once they come in, then we'll walk them right along here directly to the football field side from there.
While we're here, are they closing off this parking lot right here?
We'll have that, like we have in the past, access for board members and those folks.
So where are me and my crew going to be able to access the field from?
We'll get there. It's just a little bit.
This is going to be your field access point right here. We may have to figure out some different things because administrators like to park over here, and so we may have to logistically figure out where to park your trucks. If it's in the same spot and have gators over here, we can work that out later.
Right, so they'll enter here.
Do you want this gate like this for the event? So we can lock it to this and, okay. Okay.
Right. Show you where we. So at this point, we're going to set up some separation. We'll need to, especially for the bigger schools. We'll set up separation using these poles here. Students will walk on this side here, and we'll keep the public on that side of those poles. And whether we use bike rail or tape, I'd prefer bike rail. And we'll just line it up there and keep the public on that side of the poles. The students walking in along this wall, basically. And they'll go directly to the football field. So we'll go there. Not for public access.
Use, yeah.
I think we can bring in the administrator, so we might need somebody. That person can do double duty. They can monitor that gate and help direct students to the field.
Okay.
So cutting down on numbers for you. So this is where we'll stage all the students. We use the football field. The advantage is we got marking already there where when we line them up, we got to keep them 6 feet apart, guys. Okay, so that's why it's a big advantage to line them up on the football field and space them out. My thought, and it depends on the school. I think some of you are going to walk in 2 different lines. Correct? Dan, are you going to do 2 lines? He's listening. Lance, 2 lines?
We're looking at one.
Okay.
But we may do 2.
Okay.
All the cool kids are doing it. That might as well.
All right, so we'll plan on 2 lines. So my thought is we line them up along the yard markers here, and then maybe out there's the 10-yard, 20-yard line markers there, and space them out 6 foot, and really trying to adhere to that as we start walking them in.
Can we put chairs?
Out here,
Yes. Because I'm like, if we just say stand in the same spot for half hour,
yeah,
they're not going to.
that would be. So the problem with that I see, and Sean, pipe in. We're setting up two locations,
Yep.
and
That's going to be tough.
yeah.
I mean, we'd have to look at how many chairs we're going to need in the stadium. We only have so many chairs.
I know, yeah.
So
I'm just thinking the idea of them standing
And
and
honestly,
just standing.
yeah.
how many? So what's probably the biggest number that we have? Probably just. I'm not. Fruit is probably the biggest. How many do you think you're going to have? How many are? So we're probably going to have 400 over there. We need close to that over here. So we may be able to put some there. I'll get with Mark because we'll look at the field, and it's going to be the same chairs that we always use. Problem is we're going to have to split them,
Right.
but we have enough chairs.
What if you utilize the bleachers? I mean,
I would rather use bleachers than set up piles of chairs.
yeah.
I'm
So
fine with that.
Personally,
it's
but
there. I mean, you guys.
So
You can't fit that many people over there. It's gonna be tight.
social distancing has to be adhered to in the bleach too.
Unless they're family, they can't sit beside each other.
Well,
So it's
just
6 feet apart for everybody.
So can I just throw out there though, like, back me up on this because you're the only girl here. You're gonna put girls in heels standing on the field for like 45 minutes if they get here early. And I know that that's like, well, maybe they shouldn't wear heels, but we're telling kids to dress for their graduation. We need like some option that allows some kids to sit at least. It doesn't have to be all of them. Because if we're gonna have kids out here, they're gonna walk over to each other and say hi anyway. I mean,
we have the chairs.
Okay.
I don't know how they need to be set up, but we have the chairs.
And they just need to be 6 foot.
just make
Yeah.
the kids grab
But
chairs
you don't
and
think we
walk
could
out.
use the bleachers?
Well, we can, but he was just saying we can put
Yeah,
them.
if you wanted to stay closer to the entry point, we could set chairs up on the football field too.
I don't want to make extra work for you if I'm
That's
like, we
okay.
can walk over there. I would like to find out how many if we space
it doesn't matter.
6 feet apart,
Yeah.
if we could do
I'll
it.
look at that chart and see how many seats are there, and if we could do that. I mean,
So
Well, and I think seats would be nice, but we're not used to them. We usually stage in the barn, and they're not seating in there anyways. They're just standing.
honestly, we're going to really cut down on that time. We're going to say no earlier than a half hour ahead of time, I think. Because again, if the longer we have downtime, the more apt they're going to start mingling, getting antsy and stuff. If we can just get them lined up and ready to go in a half hour, that would really be the best. And I get it. It's going to be 8 o'clock in the morning. It'll be this time of day. They stand around at lunchtime talking longer than that.
And would there be possibility of water stations out here for the kids that are having to just sit and wait?
So a really good idea. Maybe we put water out here.
Yeah. If this is where they're waiting, it'd be good to have,
Put water bottles every 6 foot apart.
or just big cooler, big chest, throw ice water in there. I mean, water bottles.
We got to be careful with that.
Sure. Whatever way to get them water.
6 feet
get 'em
apart.
free. I don't care.
Each person won't fit the numbers because even 2 people sitting beside each other over there is 384. Over on this side is 420. So if you have to separate them instead of 2 people beside each other, 1, you're not going to meet the numbers. Has to be the football field. Well, it doesn't have to be a football field, but it can't be the stands. Yeah.
So, some to think about. Sean, you good with setting up chairs here?
We can set some chairs up on the field. We have enough because we still have the same numbers as we have for regular graduation. And since we're not going to be doing any kind of wheelchair or handicap like we do on the track, we're gonna have extra chairs.
And we're anticipating, you know, they say 400 kids. There may not be 400 kids that show up for the event. So, if you're okay with us putting chairs, Mark. Okay. So we'll put chairs out there, and if you want to put water bottles under it there or out on the field, that's okay. Something to think about. So now at this point, each one of you are going to need to decide how you're going to enter the stadium. If you look at that picture that you guys all got, and we can walk down there, but I think Mark has something to say about that. So Mark, you want to?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of anxiety about putting kids on the infield anyways, but I want to minimize the amount of traffic that we have on the grass, that kind of stuff. So if we can, we're trying to use the rubber, we're trying to use the warning track, we're trying to use the dirt. So whatever we're doing, I mean, that's where I'd like to have people enter. I think it would be cool to have them enter left field and right field and walk in front of the stands along the warning track. I think trying to get 400 students from right behind home plate out, I think is going to be really difficult. That's going to be up to you guys, but I think utilizing those warning tracks and the parade that usually comes out here and then out to their seats, I think if they came down the warning track in front of the stands, I think it would be pretty cool because they're going to be really close to those family members in the seats. So that's my suggestion. This is not my graduation, it's your guys's, so you guys can decide that. But when we go out there and look at the field, try to keep that in mind, that we want to minimize the amount of traffic. I mean, and granted, the diamond, the infield grass is what really concerns me. It's a sand-based infield. We're going to do things to protect it, but this is a different graduation. So, I mean, we've got to keep grass alive for the 6 graduations. It may be a little bit more work on Sean because we may have to water. I don't want to have that go into drought stress during the 5-day stretch. So we may have to pull chairs and do some different things. So again, I mean, heels are not going to be amazing out there on the grass. We're going to roll the dirt. We're going to make it hard. We're going to take some precautions on our side, but just keep that in mind while you guys are out here, you know, minimizing the foot traffic on that. And if we have to move chairs or change the way things look, I mean, when we first talked about this, I kind of came up with a scenario of where those chairs would be and how that would look, and it's going to change based on each school. So we may need to add some aisles in there. I don't know what that looks like. You know, I'm looking to have you guys kind of help with that and help keep the field looking nice.
So on the picture you got there, the city plotted out 400 seats, and that's going for the largest school. And we know that some of the smaller schools won't have maybe 200 graduates. We can pull those extra chairs out and make it look like they're full. Okay, that's why it's important to get an accurate number of possible attendees and stuff. So it helps Sean's crew and Mark's crew. So that would picture kind of shows you how the seating would be inside there. And then we'll have seats set up for staff as well. But so let's walk in, Mark, and take a look and see what we think.
So Tim, would there be a time that these gates would shut down for the family entrance if we did want to walk kids that way?
Yep.
And come through?
Yeah. So kind of like what we've done in the past, when the students are getting ready to enter the field, we lock the gates and we shut it down so there won't be a chance for them to intermix.
We could take the gate at right field fence here.
Yeah. So I think that's what you were talking about right now.
Bar.
If we could block off if we could get kids free access to it without getting
Yeah, well,
Parents.
we can get them there.
Okay.
Because we can come in that other gate off the football field.
Okay.
So we can separate them. So that'd be on you guys to determine who's going to sit on this side or walk this side and walk the other side and stuff. So the gate that we went in and come out, I would suggest pushing them that way, and then those kids that are going to come in that gate, pushing that way. And just hold them up at that gate, and then when you're ready to go, go. But again, all that way we have to do 6 foot.
So as they're entering, I mean, we could have them come around the red rubber, and I mean, on the map it shows dots for seats right here, but you could leave this open, kind of take it to the center, and then you could have kind of people disperse and go different directions from here. So I would prefer to stay on the red rubber and less traffic on the grass. Like I said, I get that there is going to be traffic out there, but if we can minimize that, you know, that would be helpful to us.
Lance, you were
Just
talking-
looking at options and things. Could, if we're doing one line, could we come out the door we just went through, come and then take our seats like if they did a not all the way to the wall, but outside the infield, and then take their seats. And I got to get with my team as far as now looking at this as far as what we want to do. But would that be a possibility? We come through this door, so all these parents get it up close. They come back around.
What if, I mean, if you wanted to bring one line, what if we brought them in left field and then came straight to the infield and then come around that way?
Sure.
Just to minimize traffic, and then we'd have all those bike racks on that side protecting them.
Okay.
You know, and then this side we'd have,
Okay.
Again, I think to get 400 kids or 300 kids through this gate, social distancing, that's going to be a long line.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time. So I think the quicker you can get students in, the faster the ceremony is going to go. I mean, that's just me. It's going to be 15 minutes of walking in. So
honestly, if we could separate them out, it'd be. I know you want to be different than the other schools.
No,
and stuff.
We're looking at ease. Like, we're not even going to do alphabetized. Like, you get a seat, here's your card, go.
There you
Go.
So, but you know, if I'm a parent and I know where what side about where my kid's going to sit in here, that'd be nice.
But that's it. We're looking at just going, nope, find a seat.
Okay. So I guess your two options would be bringing everybody in there along here, right, Mark? Or going out, coming in one of those two gates on that side.
But you like this side better. We came in that side.
yeah, I mean, it's a shorter walk from this side.
So
Yeah.
we came in.
Yeah, just around the outside of the stage on the dirt, and then kind of disperse from there.
Okay.
Can we do our letters or no?
So staking down things and
It's not staked, but we've got
Sandbags
waste
and stuff.
wood on sandbags.
anything that you want to add, I would prefer that it's on the dirt or on the red rubber. So the coaches' boxes, if you guys want to do anything there, feel free to do that.
Right now you guys have, sorry, I don't understand. You guys have home plate having chairs on it. If we did our letters at home plate, because then they could walk on this to get over and then just take the warning track, would that work?
My only worry is you're going to have these gigantic letters
Yes.
in front of the families.
Maybe they shouldn't sit behind home plate. Maybe this is the time that they don't want to sit behind home plate.
I'll let
'Cause
you
they'll-
fight that battle.
They'll be there when they come in and they'll go, oh, we don't want to sit right behind the letters.
I mean, you can, but
Again, we got to spread these folks out. So depending on how many people show up, we may need all the seating we can get. Now
so do you want to have possibly the letters as the backdrop to the stage?
Yeah.
Would
That's
that be
my thought.
better?
That's kind of what I was thinking was if we did, so we've got 5 total things there by about this big each. And if the stage was up just a little bit further, you could do around the outside.
Ours walk through them.
Ours normally do too, but
Just saying
Well,
now.
you could set it up where they come in on the stage side, have them walk through it there.
Can we wait until we see how many people we're going to have attending before we make that plan?
I think we could.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be a lot. That'd be on Sean's.
When do
court,
you
but-
guys need our precise what we need for the seating arrangement and the plan?
Well, I was gonna get with everybody. I've been gone, so I was just gonna email everybody and try and get numbers. I think because of the field and how limited we are, and this is different, I think it's gonna be probably just numbers. How many numbers we have. I don't know about changing the seating style for every school, since we have to be 6 feet apart and we have to keep the rows the same. I don't think we're wanting to change the layout of the rows.
We'd just pull for a center aisle is the only seat change we would make because we don't have as many as Fruta.
Well, I know you don't have as many of Fruta. That's why we're just going to pull off chairs as or add chairs as the schools come.
So we can set up a center aisle.
Yeah.
We
in
have
there.
to have a
Yeah.
center aisle.
So
Okay.
we'll do that. But
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So,
But we'll need to know how many people are going to be, how many you're expecting.
so again, they need two numbers: the actual number of graduates and the actual number of anticipated attendees
Staff.
and staff.
So
For me, the most important is the numbers that are going to be attending.
are the schools, I'm just curious, are you guys having any kind of RSVP, or are we just going on with the enrollment number?
Right, I hadn't yet, but knowing this, yeah, I'll send out emails and say yes, no, and then we can kind of plan from there.
Yeah, it would be really good if we could get really close. That way we can have exact number of chairs out there. We don't want empty chairs laying around or set up out there.
What's your deadline for needing to know by?
The sooner the better. I'll text or email everybody next week and try ask for a number of graduates. And if you can get it to me, I think we're gonna start getting chairs in the day before graduation. So as long as we have it by that first week of July, we should be good.
Okay.
Then we'll know exactly how we need to set up for every school.
For families with guests with mobility issues, what's the plan there?
The issue with using the elevator,
Yeah.
then we got to wipe it down every time somebody else gets in there. So we got plenty of handicap seating along the front. See, all those little things you got to think about. Because we talked about using the breezeway, but we'd have to wipe everything down. And if you want a staff member in there doing that, then we could do that.
So with that being said, you may have somebody staffed here to make sure that whoever's sitting in this section with these seat backs down at the bottom needs to have somebody in a wheelchair or whatever, just to make sure that you're accommodating that first, because families are going to want to sit as close as possible, and if they take that handicap seating, that's going to be an issue. So you should probably have somebody at each of these portals. This portal right over here for the handicap seating over here.
So the way we're going to seat these folks is, see the benches with the backs? Those are the seats that are going to be available. The seats in front of it have no backing. That we'll take that row of seating out of play, so they can't have anybody sit there. So that gives us that 6 foot separation up and down. From side to side, we're going to come in here is we're going to lay some tape down indicating where people can sit and can't sit. And you know, we actually did some measuring a few weeks ago, and like some of these rows, we're not going to be able to get more than 8 people in a row just because they're so short. These seats up here will do the same thing in the reserve seating, but again, can't reserve any seats. It's first come, first play and stuff. So, but with the smaller schools, like maybe Palisades, we'd encourage families to probably start sitting in the middle and fanning out so they get a better view. Any questions on seating and how that's going to work? Any questions on the field seating? we pretty, yeah.
This is locked in how these seats are going, or we have some option if we keep it close.
Well,
or is this locked?
I think that gives us the maximum
I was gonna see
number
if
of
we just
seats.
Yeah.
He said it's locked as far as like,
maybe
he doesn't want to change the whole layout per school, so he's going to set them up based on the numbers.
Okay.
You know, you guys go, and then he
in this
removes
square,
seats.
in this location.
Yeah.
Okay. So baselines are not going to be used. Those are covered with seats.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my thing is,
gotta slide into
Monday
graduation.
morning, it's gonna be.
Just close for pictures. Yeah. Everyone slides in the first on their way.
So any other questions on this? All right. So exiting. Okay, this is important. Is when we exit, you're gonna Mark real quick.
Yes.
Question. We're gonna exit. We're gonna push them right out that gate and out to the parking lot. So we want to come this way and then along the rubber and then out that gate.
You know, honestly, after the graduation, if they just, from their rows, they just head that way, I don't want them. I mean, anytime you create a path, a deer trail where everybody's walking in the same spot, it's going to create compaction. So I'd rather just kind of disperse out that way to get them all.
All right. So I don't know if you guys heard that. So when we disperse the students, we're going to go out that big entry point, and they're going to go right directly to the parking lot. They're not coming back this way. We're separating the families and stuff. They can gather in the parking lot afterwards or whatever they're going to do. But we're going to get them out of here. So Mark said that he would like to see each row just kind of this whole, if you can envision this group of dots just moving towards that gate there and then heading out to the car. What he doesn't want is two lines going out the gate. So that's going to be important for your staff to help with that.
So instead of moving everybody to the center aisle, marching down and marching out in a line, I'd rather disperse that foot traffic so it's not a deer trail. So anytime you have 400 kids, I mean, if they're going out with rows, you know, like after a wedding, each row is going out and they can follow each other back on that warning track. But I don't want to have everybody come to the center aisle, walk back down, and then out, if that makes sense. So first row, just head straight out to the warning track. Second row, straight out to the warning track.
My worry is they're just, they get so excited, they're like sheep. And if I'm second row and he's first row and we're supposed to be, you know, I'm going to get right behind you anyways.
Well, I think it's
We're
worth.
sheep on this day.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially knowing that, is having our staff seated on that side to help with stepping up and then releasing them row by row.
Yeah.
Like a wedding or a funeral.
Yeah, it's going to be what it is. I mean,
we're just trying to control
If you
it.
put staff on the end of the rows, though, and the kids leave out the end, staff members could technically release each kid as
Yeah.
you walk by. They could create that first element of space.
Yeah.
But what happens out of the bleachers, that's up to the students. But I mean, we could space them walking out the rows if we just had somebody on the end.
So the other nice part about this is we'll be able to use the Jumbotron and it'll be on the whole time. We're going to live stream it. Our IT guys, we're going to live stream it as well and things. So that'll be really nice. They're going to get with whoever has to okay the deal, video. I know, Dan, you were talking about playing a video as the students are exiting. I really like that idea. So if you have a video you want to play, what that does is kind of holds the parents here while the kids are leaving. So if you have a video, Kat, I guess I'll put you as the point of contact for that, to get that video to you ahead of time if they want to play that, and you can get it. So get your video to Kat. When do you need that? As soon as possible. Okay. So good
so I
answer.
believe Barry and
Barry,
his
yeah.
staff,
And that's those guys back over there.
they're going to be working with CMU, with the Rockies to get the Jumbotron and figure out all the media stuff. So if you have any questions, reach out to Barry and his team.
So then, like I say, all families have to go out the same gate they came in. So, you know, what might consider when you're up there on the podium, reminding, you know, social distancing and all of that to the entire group and things, and then remind them families are going to go out that south gate just before we release everybody. So, Mark, anything else that we're missing?
Not for the ceremony itself. It's just the IT and the setup. So.
Rules for speakers: if I'm up on stage, do I need to leave my mask on the whole time?
You're so ugly, yes.
Yes. Okay.
So, no, you can take it off to.
But then part of me is a lot of this I understand is also going to be is political, and it is. And so if we're up there and we go, okay, so now we can take off. No, you put your mask back on. I'm gonna.
So you're good. What it is 6 feet or a mask. So if you're up there and you're 6 feet away from everybody else, which you will be easily, you can take that off to talk and things. So we actually did some research on it. A school district in Alabama used a very similar facility and things, and speakers were able to pull their masks off. And you see the governor do it all the time and stuff. So it only makes sense.
Once students are in seats, do they, since they're 6 feet?
We prefer they keep them on. Yeah. You know, again, like I say, we're now 9 o'clock, and we should be ending that ceremony almost around this, you know, maybe an hour and a half at the most, I'm thinking. And it's a little uncomfortable. I hate wearing them. I'm claustrophobic. So we're not going to be the mask cops.
That's what I was wondering.
You know, we got the backup to that is the 6 foot social distancing. So
I would say I'd keep it consistent, because that first group, if they're not following guidelines and the health department wants to change something up and sees that, I think if you keep those rules for all of them right away, so there's no issues come, 5 or 6 in the graduation. So
yeah, and I think what you say to the students, you got to keep that on, and that covers it.
Students doing a musical performance during the ceremony?
No musical performances.
Going to sing national anthem.
What is going to be the ceremony?
Yeah, really the ceremony is going to be kids come in, principal's going to get up there, give a short little speech. Dan, remember that? And give a short little speech. Then Dr. Serko's going to give a short speech, and the valedictorian will do, those 3 will be doing speeches, short. And then board member that's attending, not all the board's going to be there. Whoever that board member is accepting the students as graduates, turn the tassels and give a quick closing speech and directions, and that we're done. Yeah, and I know Brian has all that information, and he should have got it out to you. But yeah, no musical performances, no band, none of that stuff. Flag's fine, yeah, as long as it's not.
Military kids come in, and
I think we again on the grass on. Okay. Yeah, we do it
on the grass.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. You know what? That piece, yes.
Rubber pictures now.
Yeah. The sprinklers go off. No, that stuff I'm fine with and things. So.
Are you going to have people sitting on the stage?
Yeah, there will only be about 5 people at the most up there.
How many?
5.
5 people.
5 people.
Okay.
So Diana, 1 board member, principal, and you pull your student speaker up, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Like we were saying, it can be a smaller stage.
prefer
I'm making friends here, trying. So yeah, that's really down and dirty, guys. And unfortunately, that's the way it has to be.
Across, because one school likes to have.
All right. Any questions on all of this? Justin, anything?
14.
Fish, you see anything? Okay. Like say, I gave you a copy of the graduation guidelines that was sent out early. I know some of that's changed recently, but we really got to stick to this, guys. I mean, unfortunately, that's cards that have been dealt and stuff. But we're giving them something, you know, and I'm thinking this is a really cool spot here. So, if you have questions,
do you want us to submit like what we're doing to you, or within these guidelines are we free to plan, or do we have to submit and get approval?
Yeah, I'd like to
Submit and get approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a lot riding on this, guys.
I just want to make sure.
I'm not questioning it.
Yeah.
Most of it will probably be fine, but if we get surprised by something and we get called on it, we're screwed. So
It just
again,
helps us in proceeding.
Yeah.
Or planning or getting approval.
Yeah.
We just need to know.
one of the things is we're making a video. It's what John's doing. He'll put it together, or he'll send it out to you so you can send to your students. Because we can't really have a practice, to be honest with you. I know some of you may be practicing at your facility, and what I don't know, don't hurt me, and stuff. But having this video will help with that. So you show it to your students and staff. John, when do you think that's going to be available?
Oh, I can get it right out.
Okay.
So I think if we made that the designated logo spot. Yep. I think that would.
That or up by the stage. I like that idea.
Well, or behind the stage.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see it because you're going to have people up there. Whatever you want to do.
All right. Any questions, IT? You know what you're doing? Okay. All right. Sounds good. And has Dr. Circle got a hold of you?
Kind of thing. They'll be masked, gloved up, that kind of thing, so we're not, getting in trouble. You guys can use them obviously just to call the names of the kids out that's on the card, throw them in a basket, trash can, whatever. We'll gather them up at the end of the ceremony, take them across the street, put them back in sequence, and we're just going to print and mail. So if you guys need anything or have any questions, needing anything else, just let me know as well, or just call or email me. It's totally fine.
One last thing. All staff that are going to be attending or working needs to be wearing an ID. We'll provide all the radios for the event, so we make sure that we've got that covered. It's hard. Guys are wearing masks. It's hard to identify folks, so that's why the ID is important and stuff. So making sure that that's being done. Might not be a bad idea to have them sign in so we know who's here. Just in the off chance that we have some outbreak and they do have to do tracing, we can kind of help say they were here on this date and stuff. So having them sign in and stuff. I expect you to pay them too. So. Any other questions? As you start planning it out, if you have a question, give me a call. Get with Sean and his team and the IT team and Kat. They can help you out with that. So, but those are at least the basics of what the expectations are. So. All right, thank you guys.